This week's project is going to end up very different than what it started out. This was going to be a beaded bowl, and I'm going to still do one, but you can see here that I had significant tear out. The wood was a bit softer in this area right here, and my beading tool ended up tearing out some wood to the point that I could not use this as a beaded bowl. It just didn't look good, and I wouldn't feel right about selling it. So I made a decision. I made a decision to, instead of throwing this bowl away, to try and salvage it instead. So stay tuned and see how I did that. So please let me know in the comments what you think, if I made the right decision. I decided to go ahead and burn the outer rim of this bowl, which really just gives you a nice charred surface, which is going to be uneven anyways, which would mask the small amount of tear out that I had. I don't often do this. Matter of fact, it's one of the first platter type bowls that I've burnt. I sometimes will do it on the edge where the bark used to be, but this is the first time I've done this texturing on this type of a bowl. Again, leave a comment and let me know what you think. So a couple things. Number one, you can see every once in a while I get a little bit of flare up. That's most likely some dust that was left behind on the wood. I did blow it out, obviously from a safety point of view. Using a torch in a woodworking shop where lots of sawdust is present is a bit of a safety concern, but I did blow the area down with compressed air to make sure it was as clean as possible. But even those little flare-ups you can see are most likely just a little bit of dust that was left behind in the beading of the bowl. Now, one of the things you'll notice here, if you look at this rim, you can see that it has gone a bit out of round. One of the things about using fires, it does heat the wood up, and it can cause it to warp a little bit, but again, that just adds to the character of the bowl. Here I'm just cleaning the bottom side of the bowl up, just giving the final shape and removing any tool marks. So usually when I'm doing these type of platters with a thin rim and wide rim, I tend to leave the center in the bowl platter until the very end. That just helps maintain the integrity so that I don't get a lot of movement at the rim. So now I'm just going to use my bowl gouge and remove that material from the center of the platter. So I will either start at the center and do a pull cut to the outside, or start on the outside and do a push cut, working my way to the inside, whichever tends to give me the best surface at the time. I find that doing the pull cut from the center out is good to remove material, but I get a smoother surface by going with a push cut from the outside in. There you can see me using my thickness calipers just to make sure that I have a uniform thickness throughout the bowl. Then I switch to my negative rake scraper just to remove any tool marks that may be left behind from my gouge. Now the inside of the bowl is finished. I start off with some sandpaper, and I believe I started here at 120 grit, and I ended up working my way up to 600. Once the sanding's done, I switch to my homemade abrasive paste, and you can see even just with this paste, it really starts to bring the color out. This paste does require it to be rubbed in. It is a friction polish, and you can see I keep switching to clean parts of the cloth, and you keep going until you see no more discoloration on the cloth, which means you have all the abrasive paste removed. Next, I apply a spray lacquer to it, especially with this piece where I can't really do anything else with the burnt rim of the bowl. I can't apply a friction finish, so therefore I switch to the spray lacquer, which helps seal, and provide the gloss to that burnt area. Here I'm just applying the same finish to the back of the platter, the spray lacquer. I had already also done the abrasive paste and polish there as well. So here's the finished product. Let me know if I made the right decision by burning the rim of this platter to salvage what I otherwise would have just thrown away. I think it ended up being a beautiful piece. I think the texturing on the rim turned out very nice and is a nice contrast against the lighter color of wood. The size of the platter is 17 inches in diameter and about an inch to an inch and a half depth. This platter is actually going to be a giveaway. I'm going to give this away when I reach 500 subscribers, and I'm actually very, very close now at 480. If you'd like an opportunity to win this platter, just leave a comment contest in the comment section to be added into the draw.